All right, hello. This is another Unity lesson. This one is about an introduction to working with sprites in Unity and also how Photoshop stuff can plug into Unity and you import stuff from Photoshop. So for this lesson, we'll be doing roughly three things. First is we'll be painting stuff in Photoshop and talk about how you might do some basic game art considerations for making things in Photoshop. Then we'll also import that sprite sheet that we paint in Photoshop and talk about how to slice that up using Unity's sprite importer tools. And lastly, we'll talk about how you actually integrate that into your game, which is often by art passing a previous prototype you made. And I'll show you how quickly how to do that. So first, let's start off with painting something in Photoshop. You should start by opening Photoshop, which I have done right here. Here's my little Photoshop. And then I'm going to go to Create New in Photoshop. And it's going to ask me, what new document do I want to make? In video games, the dimensions of stuff really matters because this is the texture size that will get uploaded to your graphics card when your game gets loaded onto your player's computer. So you have to be careful about the texture size. You can't use a lot of pixels because that means more memory that your game is using to render all its stuff. So here you can see in my create new document thing, I'm gonna be fairly conservative here. 512 by 512 is actually pretty low resolution. You can also when you're doing dimensions, it's good practice to get in the good habit of making sure all your game art has power of 2 dimensions. So that's to say your width and height should be some kind of power of 2 number, right? So 2 to the 0th power is 1. Is that true? Is 1. Or you can also go to 2. Right, 2 to the first power is 2. 2 to the second power is 4. Or 2 to the third power, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Right? And we can go on like that. 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, 2048. 2048 starts to get kind of big. 4096 is a lot of considered to be kind of high resolution. Like that's like in like a AAA 3D game, like the action hero protagonist's face might have a 4096 by 4096 texture. That's fairly high resolution. And then 4K texture. And then 8192 is like a lot. Like a lot of graphics hardware can't even load a texture that's 8192 by 8192. So, let's be a little bit careful and also a little bit conservative with our texture size here. But one general rule of thumb is always go a little bit bigger than you expect you'll need, because Unity, it's easy to resize game art, but it's relatively annoying and difficult to upscale game art. Downscaling is always fine, or usually fine. Upscaling is kind of painful. So here, I feel like I don't know, 512 by 512 is good. And usually when you're making textures in Unity and in games, you usually want it to be a square texture. Of course, Unity does have a Sprite Atlas feature where it can reconstruct and repack your sprites for you. So it's not super important, but if you work in other game engines, sometimes that's not always there, and you might want to do a power of 2 square texture from the beginning. Anyway, sorry, I just spent 5 minutes talking about what size your Photoshop canvas should be. Should probably get on with creating some art or something at some point. So anyway, here's my Photoshop canvas now. Let's paint some stuff. Hopefully you're kind of familiar with Photoshop already a little bit, and it's not totally new to you. probably the most important thing, two parts of the Photoshop interface are the layers palette over here down in the lower right. That's where you're keeping track of all the drawing layers as you paint. And then the left sidebar right here, your toolbar, has all your different tools and buttons that you will need a lot in Photoshop. So those are probably the two most important things that you should be paying attention to, at least at first, when you're first doing Photoshop stuff. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and just I don't know, paint a cat or something. Let's put a cat in the game. How about that? Now I don't expect, you don't have to be an amazing artist to make art for your game, right? What's important is that your art has an aesthetic to it. It has an aesthetic that is your own, that it has a soul and a voice to it. So let's just go over here on the left sidebar here, select your brush tool or press B on your keyboard to select the brush tool, and then select the color you want by clicking on the two overlapping squares over here in the left toolbar. It'll open up a color picker that looks a little bit like this. I'm gonna choose, I'm kind of a Garfield fan, so I think I'm gonna choose a nice macaroni and cheese kind of orange. It reminds me of Garfield. And then I'm gonna draw the cat of my dreams. Before we draw this cat, I'm gonna first though go to my layers tab right here and start a new layer, so that I'm drawing on the transparency instead of drawing on an opaque thing. You'll see why later. And then from there, once you have your brush tool selected, you can use the square brackets to increase the size of your brush, or use the left square bracket to decrease the size of your brush. Or if you have a tablet, you're probably a pro at Photoshop already. You don't need me to tell you this stuff. Anyway, from there, just start drawing a cat, or whatever twisted idea of a cat you have. What do cats look like? I don't even know. It's I think cats look like this, right? Cats kind of look like this. They have ears. They have cute, beady little eyes like that. They have a little button nose. I'm gonna change my color to black and make a button nose. Wait, no, wait. Wasn't I doing Garfield? Okay, I'm gonna change this to like yellow. Right, Garfield has like this like yellow button nose or something. I mean, maybe increase my right. Garfield kind of looks like this or something, right? And then Garfield also has like rounded ears too. I need to like round out these ears a little bit more. Oh dear, I don't think this is very good. Oh well, let's just keep going. Oh my god. Oh Garfield. Did you eat all that lasagna again? Oh my god. Look at this. Look at this beautiful Garfield OC that I'm painting. Let's just give him like a third eye as well. He's like a super Garfield. I don't really know what's going on. Okay, but this is my sprite that I'm gonna be painting. Okay, and then from there, just go to File, Save As, save your beautiful cat. I'm sure it's beautiful. Go to File, Save As, and then from there you need to browse over to your Unity project folder. Oh my god, where did I put my project folder? And then I'm gonna make a new folder in my assets folder called Sprites. And then in that assets Sprites folder, I'm gonna save my cat sprite. And then click OK. If Photoshop asks you about like compatibility or whatever, it's not that important. And then from there, go back into Unity. You should see your cat sprite in your project folder. There it is. Drag that into your scene, and oh my god, look at how beautiful that is. Oh my god, don't you love cats? That's exactly what cats look like too. And now you have your game art in your scene. It's pretty easy. Now, let's do something a little bit more complicated here. Let's go back to our Garfield, or not Garfield sprite here, and let's say we wanted that to be transparent, right? Well, all you have to do is make sure it's transparent in Photoshop. You'll notice that I'm just saving the PSD directly into Unity. Unity can natively read the PSD, so it's not really a big deal for you to just put PSDs in your project folder. I mean, if your PSDs start getting really, really big, you start getting a problem if you start doing like GitHub stuff or something. But for now, you're just learning, just save the PSD directly in your assets folder somewhere. Okay, but I turned off my background layer, so now you'll see there's this checkerboard effect kind of in the back. That means transparent in Photoshop. Go to File, Save to save your changes. Then go back into Unity. Unity will detect you. Oh my god. Is that good? I don't even know. Well, okay, I'm gonna go back into Photoshop here. Let's paint a little bit more. I think I liked that white background a little bit for the cat. I'm just gonna paint a little bit of that, fill in that a little bit. Oh, Garfield. Oh my goodness. Garfield, what are we gonna do with you? Okay. Painted in some white to fill it in, or no, maybe I wanna change that. I think I'm gonna adjust the levels on that. Maybe bring that down. Maybe like a gray kind of cat. Yeah. And now I'll go back into Unity, go to File, save your Photoshop, then just go back into Unity. Unity will detect the change to your file and re-import it. And it's a very fast workflow to just keep switching between Unity, Photoshop, Unity, Photoshop. It's very good. Make sure you do it. And now here's my cat. Aw, isn't it cute? Now, let's say we wanted to like animate this cat, and often when you animate stuff, you will make what's called a sprite sheet, right? So you will paint multiple frames of animation in one canvas. So I'm just gonna go back to Photoshop. I'm gonna go to Image, Canvas Size, to expand my canvas and make it a little bit bigger. I changed my mind. Instead of 512 by 512, it should be 1024 by 1024. And I set the canvas anchor to the upper left. And then I click OK. And now my canvas is bigger. And now I can paint some more variations. So maybe I'm going to duplicate my layer. Go to Edit, duplicate? No, go to layer, duplicate, sorry. Duplicate that layer, and now I have another Garfield variation I can paint on. Maybe sometimes Garfield gets really hungry and angry. Hangry? I think that's what the kids are calling it, right? Oh my god, look at how or it's like evil Garfield or something. Um um Oh, he's yeah. Look at that oh my god, game making games is so fun. Look at this. Look at how much fun we're having. Okay, and I'm gonna go to edit, duplicate, and duplicate my base Garfield again. Move that down. Here's another Garfield variation. Maybe this Garfield can be like a sad Garfield. Oh my god. Oh, look at that sad Garfield. Oh no. Or maybe it's like a pained Garfield. I'm gonna like paint that anime thing. I don't even know what that means, but I'm just assuming it means something. Right, a very pained Garfield, or not Garfield. And then I'm gonna duplicate my layer again and paint a fourth variation for my sprite sheet. um Gosh, what should this Garfield be? Are there more than like 2 or 3 emotions in the world? Okay, how about um this Garfield is upset or something. So just gonna paint, or like proud. I don't know what emotion that it's conveying. Um, um, that's some kind of emotion. I don't know what it is. Okay, here's our new perfect cat sprite sheet. I'm gonna go to File, Save, and then sure enough, go back to Unity, and Unity will detect the new change I made to that Photoshop file and re-import everything. Super fast, super easy. Now we have a problem though. We actually have 4 different sprites in this one document, but Unity is treating it all as one sprite that's moving around. And I want Unity to treat it as 4 separate sprites. So in order to get Unity to fix that up a little bit, I'm going to... God, what's wrong with my lighting situation here? The sun is very fickle. We have to go ahead and go to your project tab, select your sprite object, and now you're inspecting your cat sprite or whatever you painted in the end. And now you should see in your inspector, it should say something like cat sprite import settings. That's good. This is where we can tell Unity to do more stuff to our Photoshop thing. Don't just import it in like kind of this naive way. Like slice it up, make it into multiple sprites maybe. Or there's also other modes we can do here. We're just gonna do some basic stuff. So first, in my import settings in my inspector on my right sidebar, I'm gonna change the sprite mode to multiple, because this isn't just one sprite now, it's 4 different sprites. Next, I'm going to click apply so that Unity knows it's multiple sprites. And then I'm gonna go click on Sprite Editor. That's this button right here. Sprite Editor will look something like this. It's gonna give you a Photoshop document, and then it's asking you, now you need to slice that into 4 different sprites. To do that, you can click on the Slice dropdown right here in your Sprite Editor window, go to Automatic, and click Slice. And Unity here will do its best to just automatically, magically detect those sprites. And a lot of the time, that's actually all you need to do, and it's good. Click Apply, and now you're basically done. Now you have 4 different sprites. But if you wanted more control, you can also switch it to, let's say, grid by cell count, and say it's a 2x2 sprite sheet. Click Slice, and now it's more cleanly along a grid. Now you can see it's 4 different cats, but now it's using the entire shape and canvas. You know, there's a variety of this kind of thing. Or you can select that sprite and also modify what the actual sprite is. So let's say I wanted this sprite to actually look more like this. I want the sprite bounds to look like that. Unity will be like, okay, yeah, I'll slice that however you want it. So now let's exit the Sprite Editor and go back to our project tab and click on this little arrow in your project tab next to your sprites. And they will expand all the sub-sprites that are being sliced as a result of your Sprite Editor settings. And now here, see, we have 1 cat, 2 cat, 3 cat, 4. That's actually really scary. This one's, I'm gonna delete that one. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for that one. And now we have, oh my god, look at all these cats. Oh, it's so cute. And then anytime we want to modify these cats, right? Like I can just go ahead, go back to my Photoshop document and just be like, no, bad cat. No, bad cat. No, bad cat. Save, go back into Unity. Unity will detect all that and just re-import everything. So fast, so easy, so nice. Okay, so that's a lot of our lesson for today, right? We painted something in Photoshop. It wasn't great, but you know, it's our own. We talked about how you import sprites. You can either just leave it as a single default sprite, or you can slice it up into multiple sprites. And now let's cover the last item on our agenda here. We want to art pass some gameplay prototyping we did, and we want to art pass it and put our cat in the game instead. So for instance, I'm gonna go back into a scene I did for the previous video where we did a basic keyboard movement thing, for instance. And if I go into play mode here, you can see I can use arrow keys to move this circle around. Let's replace this circle with a cat. To do that, it's very easy. Just drag our cat and drop it on our circle. And now we've parented the cat sprite to our player sprite. I'll go ahead and rename this to player sprite maybe. So now cat sprite and the main camera are both going to move with the player sprite. And now if I go into play mode and move around, oh my god, look, now my cat is exploring the world. Wow. Now I just made a wonderful cat game. And overall, that's probably how I would recommend you do art passing in a game. What you should usually not do is select your player sprite and literally replace the sprite here. Like go and then select the sprite you want. That's the reason why you should not do that, because you probably prototyped it with certain assumptions about the size of the object, and when you swap out the sprite, it's going to get kind of messed up. So the better way to art pass things is don't swap out the art. Instead, just drag a new object on top of it, parent it to it, and then turn off the original sprite renderer. And now you have much more control over what's happening. Your player can be one size, and then your cat's sprite can be like a different size, right? And now everything's okay, and now you can control both of those things independently. Anyway, that was our lesson for today. We learned a lot about working with sprites in Unity. I hope that was useful and entertaining and interesting. I'm looking forward to what you make in your games. Thanks for watching. Bye.